Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Here we are again with NFL Week 13, 2024 picks. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. We're recording this Thursday night after the Dolphins and the Packers game. We have a special guest today. It is my good friend Tom. He has his own YouTube page, Tom Ria Sports. He is a sports fanatic just like myself, and I'm sure most of you watching this video are. Please welcome him in. Tom, how you doing today, brother?
I'm good, man. It's a pleasure. I'm excited, and I'm excited to hear what picks you got this weekend and share mine.
All right, that's what I like to hear, guys. He's a sports guru. Let me just say that. So I got the right guy for our first ever special guest for this videos that no one watches. So here we go. Without further ado, let's get right into it so we're not taking up too much of your guys' time. NFL Week 13 this week. We are only going over the Sunday slate of games, like I'm sure most of you already know if you've seen these videos in the past. We do have a special game tomorrow on Friday, so I'm including this in the slate of games that we are picking this week. That is 12 games total. So tomorrow's game, Friday, Raiders, Chiefs, and then moving on to the Sunday slate of games. Starting off with the Raiders, Chiefs tomorrow. Chiefs at home, they're versing a divisional rival. Well, let's see what we got here. All right, so Chiefs are minus 13. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. You know how I feel about division games. Usually they play each other close. They have to game plan to play each other twice a year. But the Raiders really have nothing going for them this year. And the Chiefs are kind of getting hot at the right time, as even hotter than they've been throughout the entire season. So with that said, I do like the Chiefs to win. For whatever reason, I was kind of going back and forth over-under. I do like the over in this game. I think the Chiefs can put up, 20, 25 points. Can the Raiders put up 20 points? Maybe. We're going to find out. The big thing here is the point spread. Plus 13, you know what? You guys know I don't like double-digit point spreads in the NFL because every team is good. But this game, for some reason, I think the Chiefs can win by more than 13 points. Tom, what's your take, brother?
Yeah, interesting. I was listening to you go. I think we're a little different here. I think back to the Raiders game last year when the Chiefs Raiders game last season when Las Vegas went into Kansas City. I think it was Christmas Day or Christmas Eve with Aiden O'Connell. Won on the road, right? And it kind of led to Antonio Pierce getting hired as the full-time coach, moving from the interim tag. They come into this game again, late November game. Nothing really to play for but pride. Aiden O'Connell starting, Minshew's out. The Raiders haven't won a game in over a month, maybe 2 months. So I'm definitely taking the Chiefs money line. I think it's at 750 right now. It's high, but of course, I'm not going to bet against them there, but I am picking the Raiders spread plus 13.
Okay.
And I'm also going with the under. The way I see this is I'm seeing it as like a 21-10 type of win for the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. I think their kicker they just signed is out too, Schrader, so I don't know who's even kicking field goals for them.
For the Chiefs?
Yeah, the Chiefs kicker. Yeah, and I think because they lost Bucker and then his replacement Schrader, who hit a game winner, I think last week. I think he's out. I could have sworn I read that in the injury report. So I'm going to take the Raiders at plus 13, and I'm also going to take the under at 42.5. I'm feeling like maybe a 24-10 or a 20-10, like some type of game. I expect the Chiefs to win. They might just cover, but I think it's going to be just under 13 in my opinion. So I'm going Raiders plus 13, under 42.5, and then Chiefs money line, of course.
I love it, dog. And you know what? I agree 100% with you. I do, especially in division games. If the team they're playing is getting double-digit points most of the time, that's a good thing. And it's funny you say that. I was thinking under 2 originally because for some reason, what's his name, Max Crosby, he gives Mahomes a lot of problems, man, every time they play.
He does. And the Raiders, and you said it best, right, with these division games in general, teams get up for them. But there's a special little, rivalry or whatever you want to call it between these two teams. And maybe not rivalry because the Raiders haven't beat the Chiefs much, but there's definitely a little bit of bad blood there. So I expect the Raiders to be hyped up for this one and try to, come out of there with the W. Wouldn't expect them to do that, of course, but And we've seen the Chiefs be a little up and down offensively, and even the last couple of weeks, their defense hasn't looked great. I mean, they gave up 27 to Bryce Young last week, so
That's true.
I see this being a little bit tighter of a contest, but I fully expect the Chiefs to win. I expect them to win by more than a touchdown. Just 13, a little too high for me. I'm thinking more around the 10-point range, so that's why I'm going with the Raiders.
I don't think Mahomes like that Muppet, the Kermit the Muppet thing in the offseason. He's trying to stick it to him twice. All right, guys. Let's move on. So now we're going to the Sunday slate of games. Normal Week 13 NFL 2024 season. Starting us off, kicking us off, Texans Jaguars in Jacksonville. Texans just lost to the Titans, guys. And I said last week, I feel like they've been underperforming this year for as talented of a team they are. With that said, they are versing a very beatable Jaguars team. I know they're on the road, but I like the Texans to win. I do like the over because I feel like ever since they played the Eagles, the Jaguars have been putting up points here and there, and the Texans are more than capable of, especially with Collins back. And I like the Texans to win by more than 3.5. With that said, I don't know why the spread is that close. I know it's in Jacksonville, but it's a little disrespectful to the Texans. Tom?
Yeah, I think it's well, you said it best at the beginning. Texans have underperformed all year. Stroud's got that sophomore slump a little bit. There's fans in Houston that aren't thrilled with Bobby Slowick and his play calling after he was being hailed as some king last year and getting head coaching looks. So there's a lot of interesting stuff. They're also banged up. Obviously, Diggs is out, and some guys in their O-line been in and out of the lineup, and Mixon missed time earlier this year, but he's obviously come back and he's been great all season when he's on the field. I think the spread's a little bit closer than you'd expect because of, one, the Texans not playing up to their potential, but also I think Trevor Lawrence is playing. I saw he was a limited practice participant today. Obviously, he hasn't been a world beater by any means, but he's definitely better than Mac Jones or whoever else they play quarterback. So, and it's in Jacksonville, which I guess probably gives them a slight little edge in the spread. But for this game, it's tough as far as what Houston team you're going to get. I think Will Anderson's questionable, but if he's out there, that makes a big, big difference for their defense. And their defense has played pretty decent most of the year. I'm going to go ahead and take the Texans minus 3.5. I feel like a little reluctant doing so just because the last few weeks I've watched them play, it hasn't been impressive, especially in the second half, but this could be a get-right game for them. The Jaguars have been a dumpster fire. I feel like it might be a little bit closer than we expect, but I could see the Texans eking this one out by 4 to 7 points, something around that range. I'm also going to go ahead and just take the over. I'm a little reluctant to do so, but something is telling me this could end up being like a 28-24 type of game. I think the over is 44, right?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of feeling somewhere in like the mid to high 20s, and I think if they both can get there, that'll get us above. And then, of course, money line. Obviously, we're going with the Texans. So I'm going to ride with the Texans here on the road. I think this is a kind of a get-right game for them, a weak divisional opponent. They know where they stand in the playoff race. They got to win this game.
Yeah.
7-5. I mean, you can't drop this one. So I think Houston comes ready, comes prepared to play, and they end up pulling it up.
Man, I love it, man. You know what? I said the same thing about the Titans last week, and they disappointed me there. But you know what I also said about the Titans last week, guys? I don't know if it's in the video or not, but I do remember saying it. The Titans are up next here on this slate. We got Titans Commanders in Washington. I did say that the Titans, for some reason this year, guys, are a team that can upset any team in the league on any given Sunday for some reason. Why is that? My guess is Will Levis and his crazy gunslinger style and his Calvin Ridley. It's just a great tandem. And also, if I'm not mistaken, they have a pretty good pass defense this year.
I was going to just say, yeah, their defense is kind of slept on, right? Like, they haven't been great.
At least points-wise.
Titans are 3-8. They're not, going to the playoffs or nothing of that nature. But they've played good defensive games, and you just said it before, right? We saw what they did last week against Houston. And I don't know if you're ready to go on to the Commanders game, but
I'm on it now. I'm on it right now.
Yeah, so if I'll jump ahead and just say I got the Titans covering that 5.5 spread there.
Oh my God! Against the Commanders too. That's crazy.
Yeah, in Washington, and it kind of goes similar to what we saw last week when they played the Texans, right? Like, Texans hadn't been playing well. It was kind of a position where everyone expected the Titans to get beat that game, and then they come out and win. And I'm not picking them to beat the Commanders. I'm going to take the Commanders' money line here.
Gotcha.
But 5.5 is a little high. I don't love the Commanders' defense. They're not super impressive. Now, if Lattimore plays, that's a big upgrade for them. He hasn't played since they traded for him a month ago, which is interesting. You trade for a guy and he still hasn't played yet. I mean, by the time, if he doesn't play this week, they might be 7-6 by the time he comes in.
Oh my God, that's interesting.
They're going to need him for sure.
That's interesting, man.
I'm going to take the Titans spread. I think 5.5 is a little high. I think this ends up being like a 3 or 4 point game. Commanders win, though. I like them at the money line. And then the over-under, I'm taking the over as well. We saw Titans just put up 30 on the Texans defense last week. I think they're more than capable to put up at least 20 on the Commanders, maybe 20 to 24. And then the Commanders, if they're going to win like I predicted them to, they would have to get them around 27. So I'm expecting like a 27-23, some type of mid-20s type of game. Commanders pulled out, but Titans cover and keep it somewhat close.
Okay. Well, and ladies and gentlemen, this is coming from a Giants fan, if you can't tell. So all the disrespect in the world to the Commanders, as hot as they have been this year. No, I can't. He made an incredible point there with way more knowledge than even I knew about it. The Commanders, man, it's funny because a few weeks ago, I would think they were people were even talking about them being like the number 1 seed in the NFC, and they actually know it was the Cowboys last week. I said,
that was a bad loss.
Bro,
I said, loss, right?
No, bro, it's funny. I said in the video, I was like, if you want to be the team everyone thinks you are and that you think you are and make a push this year, you got to win this game. And guess what? They lost that game. I think the whole world thought they were going to win that game. So that's not a good look.
Too. Just a really bad loss.
That's not a good look.
I'm glad you brought up I am obviously a Giant fan. I won't hide from that. We got nothing to
I'm just joshing you, brother. I'm just playing with you.
I will say, right, the Commanders, at one point, they're 7-3 or 7-2, and I'm a big Jaden Daniels guy. I've loved him in LSU, so
no, I know.
I'm definitely rooting for him, and I wouldn't mind seeing them get in the playoffs, but they just haven't. Another team, I mean, they barely won that Bears game. They lost to the Ravens. They lost to the Steelers. And now they lost, obviously, a really bad one to the Cowboys last week. So they've been slumping a little bit. I do think they get the W and kind of get back on track. But
yeah.
I'm not expecting them to go out and win the game, 30-7. They could. We know how Levis is. He might throw a pick and run with his head down or land on his knees praying or do something that people in JV football might do. But at the end of the day, I'm rolling with the Titans spread and Commanders money line. What you got?
You heard it here, folks. You know what, man? I'm not going to overthink it too much. When I look at this game, especially being in Washington, I like the Commanders to win. I do like it to go over for the fact that the Commanders can put up points. I know the Titans have a nice pass secondary, and that's kind of where the Commanders' bread and butter is. I know Austin Eckler took a pretty bad injury last week. I don't know what their running back situation is because I know Robinson was hurt too. But let's not overthink it. I think it goes over 44.5 because the Commanders can put up points and the Titans can put up points. They've proved it. The only one we differ in is I'm going to take the Commanders minus 5.5 for the simple fact that they should win this one handily, but what will happen? Let's find out this Sunday at 1 o'clock. Moving on to the Seahawks-Jets. And you know what's funny, Tom? When before you were like, I think the spread's a little high. Whenever I do these, if it's like 7 or higher, I'm always like, that's high. And you said 5 was high, and when I was looking at the slate of games, bro, we might have picked a bad week to do this one because they're all really close, and that tells me that someone knows something that we don't. They're all really close, like majority of them. So this is going to be an interesting week. We're going to be really wrong, really right. A lot of people are going to be really wrong, really right, or like somewhere in between. But I mean, I would think the Commanders could beat the Texans by more than 5.5. Let's find out. Moving on, we said our piece. Seahawks, Jets in New York. Seahawks, after beating the 49ers, who'd they just play? They beat the Cardinals last week, and they are only -1 favorites against the New York deplorable Jets recently. And guys, I'm just playing around. I know he's a Giants fan. I'm a 49ers fan. All of this is completely unbiased. We're making these picks for you guys with our football knowledge. We watch a lot of football. All these picks, me obviously besides me with the Niners ones, obviously, but a lot of these are just unbiased. Like we're kind of like predicting the game in my head. That's how I make the picks. What, you agree, Tom?
Yeah, No,
Okay.
it's honestly, like you said, we have our biases like every human does, but the reality of it is I'm making this pick based on who I put my money towards and who I honestly would think is going to win at the end of the day, biases aside. So I think, like, this Seahawks-Jets game, you made it, like, at the beginning, right? You emphasized this is an interesting spread, and it makes me feel weary because
It is a
Seahawks
weird
just
spread.
beat, yeah,
Bro,
they
they
just
should
beat
they should be
Arizona.
at least -3, 4.
Right, they just beat Arizona right last week, and Leonard Williams had probably his best game as a Seahawk since they traded for him last year. Their defense looked great, probably the best it's looked all season. They beat the Niners the week before that on a Geno game-winning touchdown. I mean, they've played well. They've gotten themselves back into the division race, and they've been a streaky team. You know, they started off, I think, 3-0, and then they lost a couple games, and then they've won a couple games now. So they're right in the thick of things, though. This is kind of a must-win type of game for them. 6-5 on the road, beginning of December against a 3-8 Jet team. I think the one is low. I think maybe Vegas knows something we don't, but for me, what I know is the Seahawks are a better football team than the Jets. Just no doubt about it. Better coached, better talent as far as performance they're getting out of the talent right now. So I'm taking the Seahawks -1 all the way.
Got you.
The over-under, I'm also going to take the over in that one as well. This one might come back and haunt me. I don't know if I feel too good about it because the Seahawks defense has played well, and the Jets have some talent on defense, although they haven't shown much of it this year. But I'm feeling this game to be relatively close. It looks like Vegas does too, and I think it has some points thrown on the board, especially with the Seahawks loving to pass the ball. As a Kenneth Walker fantasy owner, I wish they ran the ball more, but they're not quite capable of it with their O-line. So I think some points to be scored, and I'm expecting like a 27-21, maybe a 24-20, or something around that line of a finish. So I'm going to take the Seahawks. I'm going to take the over, and then obviously if I'm taking the -1, I'm taking their money line. And we're riding with the Seahawks here. What do you got?
Seahawks to win for you. I got you. The only thing I can say about this one, guys, is if you've seen my videos from week 6 on, I was saying how much talent the Jets have, and I was rooting for them heavy, like I'm sure a lot of people were this year, and then they just took a real bad downturn, and I started picking them against them, and I was having more success with that. Maybe, I don't know why this spreads this close, maybe this is the game for whatever reason they get right, but Seahawks have been playing very good ball. Seahawks are a great team overall recently. Do I think they're Super Bowl caliber? Maybe not. But do I think they beat the Jets? Yes, I do. So I'm going to pick the Seahawks. I'm going to pick the Seahawks to win by more than 1, because why not? And then 42, I feel like the Seahawks can easily put up 21. Can the Jets? You know, that's the real question. But I do like the over in this one as well, over 42. Moving on, Steelers-Bengals. In Cincinnati, another rivalry game. Who did the Steelers just play the Ravens last week? I feel like they just played 3 rivalry games in a row.
No, they played the Browns, right?
Is that all right? So there you go, 3 rivalry games in a row, and they lost that game. That's crazy. Oh wait, and are they underdogs? Oh my God!
Yep, it's Cincinnati. They're +3.
Dude, what? This is like the second time this year. That's not even right. That's like the second time this year that the Steelers, I think it was after the Cowboys game, they were favorites to lose 1 game, and now they're big underdogs. That's crazy. With that said, as I love the Bengals, I love their talent on offense. I really do. And I think they can blow out the freaking Steelers compared to their offense. But something's telling me, guys, this is going to be my first underdog pick. I like the Steelers to win this one. I like it to go under 47.5, strictly because of the Steelers defense. And actually, again, they can put up points these days on offense, Steelers, but I've already circled it. I'm sticking with my initial gut reaction. I always recommend you guys do the same. Under 47.5, and I like the Steelers +3 if I'm taking them to win. Tom?
Nice. I love it. You know what? This is a tough one, right? But you're right. This is their 3rd division game in a row, and that's how
I love the Bengals.
Works. You go back and look at the Steelers. It was very backloaded, right? They started off earlier in the year. They had some easier. I'm not going to call it easy schedule, but easier games early on in the season. They won the games they were supposed to win, and the end of their schedule is I think they play the Ravens twice, the Bengals twice, the Browns twice. Their whole division comes in the back end here. So this is where we'll find out what the Steelers are really, really made
Very
of. And I
true.
think that's
Very
part of the
true.
reason why they're +3 right now. In Cincinnati, they're both. It's weird because Cincinnati's coming off a bye, and Steelers are coming off a mini bye after playing on Thursday night last week, so they had a few extra days. I'm going to take the Bengals -3, and I feel like I'm going to regret it. I feel like we're going to have the conversation, Monday or Sunday night or something, and you're going to be like, I told you, Mr. Burns.
Hey, someone's going to be right, brother.
Yeah, I know. When we can't agree on everything, I know we see eye to eye on a lot of things. But this one, I'm taking the Bengals. I've always been a Burrow guy. He's having a tremendous season, obviously, right, himself offensively. Their team's been a little bit shaky. They're 4-7. I mean, if they want any shot at a playoff game, they got to win out. And it starts here. I don't think they're going to get in the playoffs. But I think at home, coming off a bye week against the Steelers offense that you said yourself isn't that special. Their defense is very good. I'm going to take the Bengals. I think they win this game. I'm also going to take the under in the 47.5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think the Bengals defense plays well enough to hold them. I think their offense can get points in the 20s, but I think the Steelers will end up somewhere in the teens, and that's why I'm taking the under. And then, of course, if I'm taking Bengals -3, I'm taking their money line. So let's see if Burrow and Chase and those guys coming off a bye week can get a big win here and hope to save their season.
Dude, I love it, man. That's going to be a fun game, guys. That's going to be a fun game. And then, Tom, let me reiterate for you and the fans. Guys, the person who we have as a special guest today who's making these picks with us, he's like my best friend. I love him to death. And I love all of you guys watching this video, anyone watching regardless. When I make these picks, and I'm sure Tom will agree with me, same for him, I'm making these picks for you guys. And I want you guys to. I'm not betting on these. I'm not doing this for any kind of money or sponsored publicity. I'm doing this to help you guys and to talk ball, people who like football. That's it. So when I win these, I feel really good. When I get good picks weekly, if I have a good week of picks, I feel so good because I'm like, wow, whoever saw that, if they made a pick or agreed with me for their matchums, their eliminator pools, their survivor pools, if you choose to bet on it, that's for them. You kind of see what I'm saying, Tom?
Right, absolutely. That's what this is all about. We're having a good time, chatting it up, and just talking ball. And that's whatever.
And you know what? And since we're kind of on the subject, I've been meaning to say this in my videos, guys. This is never the see-all, be-all, tell-all of anything. Go with your picks. This is just kind of like our input,
Right,
for
exactly.
everything.
Very good point.
Moving on, with that said, and the love shared on the special holiday of Thanksgiving, Cardinals-Vikings in Minnesota, another game where the Cardinals just lost and the Vikings have had a pretty decent year. I would think the spread's a little bigger than it is. But right off the rip, guys, and I feel like the season started with a lot of high-scoring Cardinals games, especially going up against a great offense like the Vikings. I like their overs, and then recently I've been picking their over games, and I've kind of been seeing, at least the ones I know, have been going under, including last week's. But I do like over 45 in this one. I think Kyler, if he can finally get it right, and James Conner and all of them. And then obviously the Vikings have no problem putting up points, even against the tough, pretty middle of the pack, above average Cardinals defense. I like the over 45. I do like the Vikings to win this one, even though I can see the Cardinals keeping it close. But I don't think 3.5 is close enough for me. If it was like 5, I would take the Cardinals, but I think the Vikings win by more than 4 points. So there's that for my picks. Moving on to Mr. Tom.
Yeah, again, I'm going to be a little different here. Maybe for the sake of being different, or maybe for not. But no, in all seriousness, I think the Cardinals defense has been good. They've been above average, like you mentioned. I don't think they're an elite defense, but they've been good, right? And the Vikings, on the other hand, they've been an elite defense for most of the season.
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's true.
And I think last week they kind of fell off a little bit in Chicago. Chicago's been playing well. They even played decent today against Detroit. Chicago's offense, at least in the second half. But anyways, I'm going to take the under in this one. I'm going to take the under at 45.
Under 45.
I'm going to... This one's tough. I'm going to take the Cardinals plus 3.5.
Gotcha.
It's more because of last week. I think last game they played so poorly against Seattle's defense, which isn't as good as Minnesota. So you're thinking, what makes you think they're going to play better? I think just simple adjustments. I think they're going to come in this game understanding, like, hey, if we want to win this division, we got to compete. We got to win now.
That's true.
I still don't think they win. I think I am going to take Minnesota's money line,
Ooh.
but I think the game will be tight. I think Kyler will play decently well. He'll use his legs quite a bit in this one. And I think ultimately this is going to be a very tight game. Vikings will pull it out, but I think Cardinals will cover, and we're going to fall under 45 at the end of it.
Wow, that's interesting. You think this one's going to be close, and you think the Vikings don't win by more than 4? That would be a huge win for the Cardinals. You know what's funny, bro? I picked the Cardinals last week. Coming off a bye, they played that poorly, like you said. That's, so like you said, the Cardinals are capable of a lot more. They're a talented team, and they're playing a great season, way above expectations.
Right. Yeah. And it worries me. Don't get me wrong. It worries me because when you look at the Cardinals defense, their best games came against Chicago, Chicago, the Jets, the Chargers, and Los Angeles early in the year. But the teams they lost to, right, Buffalo, Detroit, Washington, Green Bay, all really good teams. And Minnesota's another really good team. So they might fall in that category of maybe fraudulent a little bit at 6-5, and I think this game will be a test for that. If they lose their game, I'm not going to call them frauds. But if they end up losing the game 30-7, then yeah, maybe I will put them in the fraud category. But for now, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think they'll come out and play decently well. I don't think they're going to win, but I think it'll be a little bit tighter than expected. Maybe a 20-17 type of finish for Minnesota.
Okay, dude. The more we talk about this, Vikings are an amazing team with an amazing record, having an amazing year, and the Cardinals have been playing very good team all year as well. The more we talk about this, you might be right, man. This might be a close one.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Next games I'm really excited for, though, so let's go on to
Really? Okay. All right. Chargers, Falcons in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. You want me? I'm going to be quick, and I'll let you go into this one. Okay. Guys, off the top of my head, Falcons started the season hot, have the talent there, have a decent enough defense to compete. Chargers have an amazing year. They kind of held their own with the Ravens. I thought they were going to do better, even though they showed spurts, and J.K. Dobbins did go down with an injury. I don't think he's expected to play this week, so that might hurt the Chargers. I love the Falcons' offense this year. Bijan's getting right. But with that said, I like the Chargers to win. It should go over if the Falcons played like they played in the beginning of the season. And then obviously Herbert's been doing his thing the last 6 weeks, whatever, since he's been getting healthy. He's been slinging it. Let's say over because it is in Atlanta. Maybe their offense shows up. And then I do like the Chargers offense to do their thing, even without Dobbins. So everyone keep that in mind. And I like the Chargers to win by more than 1. I want to hear what Mr. Tom has to say about this one. Chargers, Falcons.
I like your picks a lot. I think the reason I'm excited for this game, and I feel like you'll agree with me on this, is this kind of, I just mentioned the word fraud, and now I'm probably overusing it, but this game really, out of all the games this week, has the fraud watch on it. Because, I picked both these teams before the year to make the playoffs.
That's pressure, bro.
Signing in Atlanta, and we both are huge Jim Harbaugh guys, right? Coaching matters in the NFL. So I had both these teams making the playoffs. They're both on track to do so, unless they kind of blow it here the next few weeks. And it starts with this game. And I think it's. I'm with you on the over as well. I think we can both agree on that. And there's not much to say other than I just expect some points. Chargers have scored over 20 the last 4 or 5 weeks. Falcons had a couple duds the last few weeks, and their bye week. They're coming off that. I expect them to play much better at home. So that's where I'm going with the over there. But I'm going to take the Falcons at +1. And it hurts me because I think I like the Chargers more, just personal preference. I like the Chargers more, just Harbaugh and Herbert and stuff. But I think the Falcons coming off a bye, off 2 really bad performances, sitting at 6-5 with Tampa creeping up, right? Tampa's only 5-6. I know they lost to them twice, but Tampa's arguably a better team when they're playing at their best, and they're right there now. So if Atlanta loses a couple games,
that is very true.
They know this, right? They know this. This is a game Atlanta's got to come out and play their best. I think they're coached well enough where they'll be able to do so. I still worry about their pass rush. I don't expect them to be like elite type of performance or an elite type of team, but I do think they can do enough offensively against the Chargers to win this game. So that's why I'm going to take Atlanta +1, obviously take their money line with it, and I'm going to take the over at 47.5.
Got it, bro. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. If the Falcons can win this one against a high caliber AFC team, they're for real. Or even if they're not for real, they're capable of going far.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen signs like those Tampa games they played so well, and I've seen them have some really really good performances. I mean, they beat Philly in Philly
Oh
early in
my
the year. They
God,
almost
forgot
beat
about
Kansas
that.
City. They probably should have won that Kansas City game. They've had some really good performances. They've also had the duds, right? They looked terrible
Yeah,
against Seattle. They looked terrible
and
against
that's been
Denver.
recently too. So that's the
Right,
scary part.
right. It is, it is. But I am going to ultimately stick with Atlanta. I'm going to give them this one this week because I don't want to get too far ahead, but let's just say I'm gonna take Atlanta this week at +1, and I'm taking the over at
Oh, he's
47.
got some insider knowledge, bro. No,
Well, we'll
bro,
save that for the
it's already marked down. There's no going back. It's in pen. That's the way I do it. I write on napkins. I'm drawing on. I'm using a James Bond book as my to write on, bro.
I love it.
All with that said, Falcons fans are gonna love you, bro. And if they win, you're gonna look even freaking smarter. That's gonna be a fun game, guys. What? And then another thing too, we both have the over. Before we move on from this game, we both have the over. I hope I hope both of those good high caliber QBs and good running backs, including Gus Edwards,
You know what I'll say real
live up
quick
to their
before we go on
reputation.
to the Colts Patriots game?
Wow.
Maybe I'm curious, real quick. Chargers Falcons battle of two pretty nice jerseys in the NFL, right? I think,
Oh my God! Yeah, without a
what
doubt.
jerseys they wear. I like both their uniforms.
Without a doubt. How crazy would it be if they both wear like an alternate this game?
Oh, I love it. I would love it. Yeah, give us some powder blues and some of the red helmets.
That's what I was. Imagine they both wore like a solid color. None of them wear white. They just wear like a solid color. This one.
Yeah, I like both their uniforms. So fun little eyeball game.
That's true, bro. That's true. I love it. Blue and red. Good old faithful.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. Moving on. We got Colts Patriots. No one's gonna watch this game. We don't have to go over it. No, I'm just kidding, guys. All right, I'm just kidding. I actually, with that said, the Patriots have been shocking a lot of people within the last 4 weeks. I think they actually might have 2 wins out of like their last 4 or 5 games. Colts, man, Anthony Richardson 1 week he looks amazing, and then the next week he doesn't even show up for the game. And then Jonathan Taylor is a top 3 running back in the league. They should be stomping teams out every week. And I see they got the spread here as them as the favorites on the road against a tough Patriots defense. With that said, guys, something in my gut, I don't know why, especially since it's a good seasoned Patriots defense against a very young, raw Anthony Richardson. Something in my gut is telling me Patriots +2.5. And then I like if the Colts defense was a little better than they have been playing, I would be assuring to say the under, but I'm going to stick with under 42.5 for this one. And then, guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of like the Patriots to win this one. I don't know why, but that's my picks. Mr. Tom?
You know what? This might be the first, maybe the first couple of games we were in agreement, but
oh my God.
From my knowledge, this is the first game I'm unanimously agreeing with you.
Wow.
I'm a little worried about Richardson in New England, right? Patriots defense isn't great, but they've had decent performances. They're very up and down. They looked terrible against Miami last week, but I expect them to play a little bit better. Now, Patriots aren't anything special. I'm still wondering if Mayo's even the right coach, but Drake May has played good enough for them to win some games. And I think ultimately at home, after a bad performance, I expect them to play better. And I'm with you. I'm going to take Patriots +2.5. I'm going to take the under at 42.5, and I'm going to take the Patriots money line. I'm going to run with them. I'm at home in a game between 2 young QBs, one a little more mistake prone, right, in Richardson than May, I would say right now. And not that I trust either of them necessarily like to an extreme level, but I think I trust May a little bit more at this point. And the Colts looked bad last week. I mean, they just kept beating themselves. Both teams look bad, but the Colts especially. I mean, they scored 6 points at home against Detroit, and that was a game where Detroit, wouldn't say they played their best ball. They played good, but maybe not their best ball. So the Colts are a weird team to me. I think they are a better team than their record shows. They're 5-7.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, right. Like I think this team, if a couple things go their way, they could have made the playoffs. But that being said, it just seems like it continuously doesn't happen. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts go out there and win the game and win it handily. So this one I won't feel too bad if I'm wrong about, but I'm going to take the Patriots at +2.5. And this one I might end up regretting it. We might end up regretting it, but I don't know. I just feel a little bit better about New England at home right now.
That's the pick. And honestly, that's pretty crazy because the Patriots were supposed to be a bottom feeder team this year. All right, guys, we've said our piece on that one. Moving on to the 4 o'clock slate of games. There's only 3 of them. There's only 12 games total this Sun. Well, there's 11 this Sunday, but 12 is the tomorrow, Friday. I don't know the exact date, but Black Friday tomorrow. Today's Thanksgiving, Thursday night.
Yep.
Because there's only 12 games here on this list for us to pick, guys. Because there was 3 games today on Thanksgiving, and then obviously the Monday. There's no bye weeks this week. Next week there will be a lot of buys, but there's only 12, so there's only 3 4 o'clock games. And starting us off in the 4 o'clock slate of games is Bucks Panthers in Carolina. Guys, I hate to be that guy, but I feel really proud of myself for picking Panthers 10.5 last week. And it wasn't a fluke, because all seasons, ever since Dalton had his start, I've been saying to you guys that Panthers have a lot of talent on their offense. And a few talented corners, too, they showed last week. And you know, give it time. In the next few years, if things go right for them, and if they actually really do want it, they'll be a competitive team. With that said, they got a tough team in the Bucks coming in. Mike Evans is back and healthy. Baker Mayfield having a great year. And their defense actually played pretty decent, I think, the last 2 weeks. I want to take the... Well, let's save that one for last. I think the Bucks win this one. I'm sorry, Panthers fans, but Bucks are just a great team coming in. It's a tough draw. I do like over 46.5. I do. I think my man Chuba Hubbard and Bryce Young playing very well recently. And obviously, what's there to say about the Bucks? Their high caliber offense. Unfortunately, and very fortunately for Bucks fans, I'm going to take the Bucks -6, because I think that even if it's just by a touchdown, 7 points, and the extra point, I think the Bucks win by 7 or more. That's what I think of that game, guys. Mr. Tom Maria Sports.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you on most of what you said. I think Carolina's played better. Bryce Young has looked better.
Hold on.
But
Yep.
I'm really high on Tampa. I really am. With Evans back now, Kate Otton's a stud at tight end. Bucky Irving's looked awesome behind the backfield. They still have Rashad White. I don't know if Wirfs is playing or not, but if he is playing, that's obviously a big boost for their offensive line. Their defense is definitely questionable. That's why I'm going to take the over as well with you. And it's in Carolina, which will give them some juice. It's a divisional game. But I ultimately am going to take Tampa -6. I think if it was 7, I might take the Panthers, because I'm honestly feeling Tampa wins this game by exactly a touchdown, even if it's like a late touchdown or whatever. They hold them off at the end and win it by a score. But I think they're going to win by a touchdown or more. I think they're going to hit the over, and I'm taking, obviously, Tampa's money line there. But
So
it should be a pretty good game. Bryce Young has looked good. Bryce Young looked good last week against a really tough defense.
Yeah, he
in
did.
Kansas City. And I wouldn't be surprised if Carolina made this game tight, but I just think that Tampa knows where they stand. They understand how to win in this league. They made the playoffs last year, and let's be honest, right? Like, they lost to Detroit in the second round, but that was a close game. They could have very easily gone on to the NFC title game a year ago, and their team's pretty similar to what it was. So I expect them to know what they got to do. They're going to come out and get it done, and I think they win by a touchdown.
I'm sorry, Tom, did you say Bucks -6?
Yeah, Bucks -6 over, and the over 46.
Got it. All right, I'm going to try and get this going so I get this man his phone back. We got Rams Saints in New Orleans. How the mighty have fallen. The Rams were favorites last week against the Eagles, and now they're only -2.5 favorites against the Saints, who, you know, I feel like a few weeks ago people would think, oh, the Rams, even if the Saints are healthy, are going to run wild over the Saints. With that said, I'll give them their flowers. I'll give them their due. Saints, amazing offense. I like what they have going on. I think the Rams are the better team. I think the Rams win. I think with all the pieces they have on offense, it's going to be a little tough. At 49.5 is a little high, because the Rams defense has looked a little vulnerable at times, and the Saints have looked vulnerable, and I'm pretty sure they just got rid of Marshawn Lattimore. You heard about that, Tom?
Yes, yeah. I mentioned that earlier, right? As far as Lattimore got traded to the Commanders earlier this season, I think like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lattimore's gone, and like you said, I'm with you as far as that 49.5 being high. So I don't know if you were trending.
No. I was just wanted to let the viewers know that, they got rid of Lattimore and the Saints defense was already kind of vulnerable. You would think, with us saying that, it's a shoo-in for over. Believe it or not, guys, I don't know why. I think this one's going to be a little competitive. I'm picking the under 49.5. I think that's a little high. Might be the highest on the slate. Oh, no, the next game is, but I don't know, guys. I think the under in that one for some reason. And then I do like... Oh, God, it's only 2.5, and I'm thinking about picking the Saints getting the points at home. But nah, because I don't want to mess up picks. I'd rather good pick numbers and percentages for these people. I like the Rams minus 2.5 on paper if everything goes right for them, but anything can happen. Mr. Rhea for this game?
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm right with you. I'm taking Rams minus 2.5. I think they didn't play great against Philly last week, but Philly's an underrated powerhouse.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get the next game, obviously, but I'm taking Rams minus 2.5, and I'm taking the under 49.5.
Okay.
I think the Rams defense plays much, much better against New Orleans. The Saints are coming off a bye week, so we'll see how they perform with that, but I think, they won. I think they won their last two games, the Saints, with the new interim head coach. Yeah, they did with that against Atlanta, against Cleveland. A couple nice wins, that interim bump, right, when a new coach comes in, a little bit hyped up, but I still don't believe in the Saints. I think their luck runs out this week, and I think the Rams go into New Orleans, win by a field goal or more, and they're going to hit the under on their 49.5.
Gotcha. All right, guys, that's it. Moving on. Eagles, Ravens, possibly game of the week.
Yeah, no question. No question.
And what makes it even cooler is Eagles are on the road, so if they're for real, they're going to have to do it in Baltimore. And not necessarily a night game, but when it gets into the fourth quarter, it's going to be a night game. The odds are about what it should be, at least at the start of the game. This is the type of game that when it starts, one of the other teams just blows the other one out, and everyone looks like a fool. We got Eagles, Ravens, guys. Listen, what's there left to say about the Ravens and Lamar Jackson in particular and Derrick Henry? Two MVP frontrunners on the same team. Ravens defense looking a lot better than they have in the beginning of the season. But also, you could say the same thing about the Eagles. I for some reason, I like the Eagles to edge this one out, so I'm going to take the Eagles to win. I like the Eagles plus the 3 if I'm taking them to win. As far as the over-under, guys, and I've been right and wrong about this all year. I know everyone's probably thinking, it's going to be a huge shootout game. 50.5's a lot, and both these teams need this win. So both defenses are probably going to show up, and the Eagles' defense has looked a lot better in recent weeks. I like the under 50.5 for some reason. Mr. Tom.
Yeah, this is such a fun game. This is why this time of the year is always great, because this is where you really get to see what teams are made of and who they really are and stuff like that, right? I think Belichick used to say season starts after Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay. Dropping quotes out here.
Conversation, but I'm gonna go against you a little bit. I'm actually gonna take Baltimore at home minus 3.
-3, okay.
And I'm gonna take the over. Now, hear me out. You're absolutely right. The Eagles' defense has played great. The insertion of Cooper DeJean's been awesome. I think Darius Slay might be questionable. And also on the offensive side, Devontae Smith, I don't know if he's playing or not, so I do think that hurts them. But Either way, that being said, I'm taking the over because I'm looking at the Ravens' history. And, I mean, they went over 50 against the Chargers last week, went over 50 against the Bengals, against the Broncos, against Cleveland. So really, 4 of their last 5 games have gone over 50 points. The only game that didn't was in Pittsburgh, which Lamar notoriously struggles in. So ultimately, at home against Philly, Lamar, believe it or not, this is a fun fact that you may or the listeners may not know, but Lamar in his Ravens career has only lost to the NFC once in his entire career.
The whole NFC?
Yeah, in the whole NFC, and it was actually Daniel Jones and the Giants.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's crazy. That's a crazy stat, bro.
Yeah, well, that game was crazy. They were winning all the way until late in the fourth quarter, and Thibodeau had a sack fumble, all that stuff, and they came back and won. But that's the only time Lamar's ever lost to the NFC. So if there is a game for him to lose the NFC, it would be against the 9-2 Eagles team. But I think his hot streak against the NFC stays alive. I think they cover the 3. They hit the over.
You think the Ravens win?
Yep, Ravens minus 3, over 50.5. That's my final pick for the game of the week.
I love it, bro. I love it. That's it's as vulnerable, even though they've picked up the slack in the recent weeks. The Eagles defense and I'm pretty sure Brandon Graham just had a season-ending injury last week too.
He did. Yeah, he tore his tricep, which is pretty unfortunate.
The Eagles defense still is vulnerable, even though they've been playing very good recently. And guys, let me also reiterate, we're doing this on Thursday night, so injuries aren't official yet, and some of these points and point totals might change come Sunday. Please keep that in mind. Moving on, last game of the Sunday slate of games, 8:30 p.m., the Sunday night football game, 49ers at Bills in Buffalo. Niners over, Niners points. That's it. All right. Good night. No, I'm just kidding with you. That is what I'm keeping because I do it every week. I'm a little biased as a Niners fan. I like the Niners to win. I do like it to go over, and I like the Niners getting the +7. In all serious, though, why am I saying that? Besides being a 49ers fan, if Brock Purdy does play, huge. If Brandon Allen plays, it's not looking good for the Niners. Give them +14, they'll probably still lose. I like the Niners to win if Purdy plays. I think the Bills' defense is vulnerable. I think it's two high-scoring, high-caliber teams, playoff-capable teams. I definitely like the over 44.5 if Purdy plays. I know Josh Allen and them are going to put up 22, 24 points, and the Niners are capable of putting up 20. And a good team like the Niners, if Purdy plays, and if a few people on defense, please check the injury report, are getting +7, even on the road against a high-caliber, Super Bowl-caliber team in the Bills, I like it. I said my piece. Mr. Tom, what's your unbiased opinion on the Sunday night football game?
Yeah, I'm thinking your listeners and fans should know anytime the Niners come up there, a disclaimer should pop up on the screen. Like, I am a diehard 49er fan. Take that
Bro, last year I picked the Niners, the over, and their points every game last year, and it worked like 13 weeks in a row, but that's a different year.
Yeah, true. So, well, it's funny, too. I was thinking we just titled Eagles-Ravens Game of the Week, and it is. But coming into the season, looking at the schedule, if we pointed out this week, we probably would have thought Niners-Bills Sunday night would be the game of the week.
Yes,
right?
and bro, if Purdy plays, it might be.
It could be, yeah, it could be. Here's what I'm going to go with. It looks like they're forecasting some snow. I think that favors Buffalo heavy, if that is the case.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Buffalo come off a bye. Purdy's not 100%, might not even play. I think Greenlaw might be back. You would know better than me.
He's close. He's getting close.
He's close, right? That's a huge boost if he plays this week. But the Niners desperately need a win at 5-6 if they want to stay alive. Unfortunately, I'm going to take the Bills -7 here. It's a lot. I'm still worried about Purdy even playing. I'm kind of taking this as a security blanket at 7 today if he doesn't end up playing, because if he is officially ruled out, that spread's only going to jump. But, yeah, I'm going to take Buffalo. Even if Purdy ends up playing, I don't feel terrible about that pick because they're a different team at home in their elements, coming off a bye week.
That's true.
I really, really like Buffalo in this spot. I think they're just a better team, right? They're just overall just a better team. They've scored 30 points every game the last 5 weeks plus against some good defenses in Kansas City, against Tennessee, in Seattle. So I'm taking the over as well. I'm taking the over 44 here. And I think Buffalo wins by 7 or more.
Got you, bro. I love it. I loved everything you said. Guys, at the end of the week, thank you so much for Tom for coming in. We do our confident picks of the week. Yeah. I usually do 3 of them. You can do as many as you want.
No Monday game? No Browns?
No. I don't. I always said that on the page if someone's new to this page. And Tom, guys, I don't like doing the Monday night football game because the betting week technically ends on Sundays and then it starts over on Monday. So Monday would technically be the start of next week if you're betting on it. And also, and even Thursday night games, bro. I just do Sundays. For whatever reason. I just stick to Sundays. And yeah, I know the Friday one's included with this one. It's a weird week, but I just do Sundays. What's it called? Guys, we'd like to finish with 3 confident picks. We're not going to take up too much of your time. Tom, if you want to look at confident picks while I'm looking at mine, just give me 1 second, guys.
Yeah, now do you want just one spread, one money line?
No. Yeah, not at all. The entire page. You could pick 3, anything you want. It could be from the same game. It could be anything you want. I do like, let me look at it then. I had one in my head before.
I'm going to sit here. I'll start off. I like the Rams -2.5. I feel very confident in that one. I think they're going to play much, much better this week in New Orleans. So I'm going to take them -2.5 as one of my confident picks. I'm going to take the Bills over 44.5. Bills Niners. I like that as my second confident pick. And then my third one, this could go in a couple different directions. But you know what? For fun, I'll take a risky one, and I'll take the Falcons +1.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
Yeah. Although I wouldn't say I'm the most confident. That's why I took it as my third
Dude,
one.
you know what's funny? You know what's
I'm
funny?
just-
The
that's
Lions
taken.
were like huge favorites a few weeks ago, and one of my confident picks was taking them -14. I was like, let's do a spicy one, and they did it. They blew the Jaguars out by like 50 or something.
Yeah, that game was true.
Let's you know what, guys? I'll be quick. I do like the overs, 49ers and Bills. So guys, if you're telling us on confident picks, we're both like that one. And then give me 1 second here, guys. I'm looking. You know what? That's it. We'll let Mr. Tom do the confident picks this week. I won't take up any more of your guys' time. Got Tom? I gotta go. Both of you guys, listen. I love all y'all. Good luck with everything going on in your lives. I hope you guys all have a great week. Good luck to all your teams. I know life's only gonna get better as life goes on. We got my man Tom here with us. Thank you so much for coming in today, bro. You're the man.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on. Look forward to doing it again. And happy Thanksgiving, everyone. God bless.
Same, yo. All right, guys. Have a great night. We'll see you again soon. Good luck. Leave your comments down below. Love all you. All right. Good night.